Welcome to my Colombia stories. This one comes from Dave, 34, remote worker from Seattle, software consultant. Before I read it, let me say this. Dave thought he was being smart, thought he was making money while helping someone out, thought subleasing a room in his Airbnb was a good idea. By the end of this, you'll understand why Airbnb has rules against it, and why those rules exist for a reason. If you've ever looked for a shortcut to make extra cash, hit subscribe and like. Dave's clever idea cost him everything. Here's what he sent me. My name's Dave, I work in software consulting. Build databases, fix back-end issues, that kind of thing. I can work from anywhere, as long as I've got Wi-Fi and coffee. Colombia seemed like a good option. Cheap, good internet, mountains. I'd heard Medellin was full of digital nomads. Figured I'd check it out. I booked an Airbnb in Laureles for 3 months. 2-bedroom place. Way too big for just me, but it was cheaper than a 1-bedroom for some reason. Big living room, decent kitchen, balcony with a view of the hills. $800 a month, steal. I moved in late February. Got set up. Desk by the window. Monitor, keyboard, the works. Started my routine. Coffee shop in the morning, work from home in the afternoon, gym at night. It was perfect. 3rd week there, I'm at a co-working space in Poblado. Selena, you know the one, full of laptop workers and people having Zoom calls in weird corners. I'm getting coffee, and this woman's struggling with the espresso machine. Pressing buttons, nothing's happening. She looks frustrated. I walked over, asked if she needed help. She smiled. Said she couldn't figure out the milk steamer. I showed her. We got to talking. Her name was Camila, 29, graphic designer. From Bogotá, but had been in Medellin for 6 months. She was freelancing, working with clients in the States. We ended up sitting together. Worked in the same area all afternoon. She was cool, easy to talk to. Didn't feel forced. We started seeing each other at the co-working space regularly. She'd wave when I walked in. I'd grab the table next to hers. We'd take coffee breaks together. Nothing romantic, just friendly. She'd tell me about her projects. I'd complain about my clients. Normal work friend stuff. One day, maybe 2 weeks after we met, she mentioned she was looking for a new place. Her current spot was too expensive. Landlord was raising the rent. She was thinking about moving to Laureles. Better prices. Quieter than Poblado. I told her I had a 2-bedroom in Laureles. Way too much space for one person. She asked how much I was paying. I said $800 a month. She laughed. Said that's what she was paying for a studio. Then she said something that seemed casual at the time. If you ever want a roommate, let me know. I thought about it for a day. It actually made sense. I had an empty bedroom just sitting there. If she paid me $400 a month, I'd only be paying $400 myself. Cut my rent in half. And she seemed responsible, professional, not some party girl. I asked her the next day, said she could check out the place. If she liked it, we could work something out. Month to month. She seemed excited, said she'd love to see it. She came by that weekend. Loved it. Said the 2nd bedroom was perfect. Big closet, good light. Asked if $400 a month worked for me. I said yeah. She said she could move in next week. We shook hands. She transferred me the first month through the banking app. $400. I felt pretty good about it. Smart move. Helping someone out and saving money. She moved in the following Tuesday. Didn't have much stuff. 2 suitcases, a backpack, her laptop. Set up her room quick. That night we cooked dinner together. She made arepas, I made pasta. We ate on the balcony. Talked about work, about Medellin, about how expensive Seattle was compared to here. It felt easy, like having a cool roommate in college. Week 1 was great. She was clean, did her dishes, kept her stuff organised. We'd work during the day, sometimes cooked together at night, otherwise stayed out of each other's way. Perfect setup. Week 2, she mentioned her cousin Daniela was visiting for a few days. Asked if it was cool if she stayed over. I said sure, no problem. It's a big place. Daniela showed up on Friday. Early 20s. Friendly. A little louder than Camila, but nice enough. She slept on the couch, stayed the weekend. Left Monday morning. No issues. Week 3 passed. Then week 4. Camila paid rent on time. 2nd month. $400. No problems. I was thinking this might be the best decision I'd made since coming to Colombia. Month 2 is when Daniela came back. Camila said she was going through a breakup. Needed a place to crash for a bit. Asked if she could stay in the living room temporarily. I said okay. Temporarily. Daniela moved in with a big suitcase and a duffel bag. Set up on the couch. She wasn't working as far as I could tell. Just on her, phone all day, going out at night, coming back late, but she was polite. Cleaned up after herself, stayed out of my way. Week 2 of Daniela being there, Camila asked if Daniela could start contributing to rent. Said she felt bad about her cousin staying for free. Asked if $200 a month from Daniela would work. I'd get $600 total, only pay $200 myself. I thought about it. Daniela was already there, already settled in, and $200 to cut my rent to almost nothing. Yeah, that worked. Daniela handed me cash the next day, $200. Smiled. Said thanks for being cool about it. Month 3 started. I was paying $200 to live in a 2-bedroom apartment in Laureles. I felt like I'd gamed the system. Remote work plus cheap rent, plus roommates who paid on time. This was the digital nomad dream. Then Camila asked about having people over. Said it was her birthday next month. Wanted to have a small party, maybe 10 people. 10. I'd be travelling that weekend anyway. Work conference in Bogotá. Would it be okay? I said sure, 10 people. Keep it chill. Don't break anything. She said of course. Just a few friends. Some drinks. Nothing crazy. I left for Bogotá on Friday morning. Conference was boring, but whatever. Got paid to be there. I'd be back Sunday night. Sunday afternoon I got a text from the Airbnb host. All caps, lots of exclamation marks. Saying neighbours complained about noise, about people, about a party. I called Camila, she didn't answer. Called Daniela, straight to voicemail. I texted the host, said I'd handle it when I got back. It was probably just a few people hanging out. I talked to my roommates. I got back to Medellin around 9 Sunday night. Took a taxi from the airport to Laureles. Walked up to the apartment building. The security guard looked at me weird. Asked if I was the gringo from 4B. I said yeah. He shook his head. Said good luck. I took the elevator up. Walked down the hall. Opened the door. And I knew immediately. Something was very wrong. The smell hit me first. Stale beer. Cigarettes. Something sweet and chemical I couldn't place. The floor was sticky. Actually sticky. My shoes made this gross peeling sound with every step. I walked into the living room. My couch was flipped over, cushions torn, stuffing coming out. There were bottles everywhere. Beer bottles, liquor bottles, plastic cups crushed and scattered across the floor, like confetti. The TV was gone, just an empty space on the wall where it used to be. The HDMI cables were still hanging there. Someone had ripped the TV right off the mount. I went into the kitchen. Cabinet doors open, dishes smashed in the sink. The blender was broken. Glass all over the counter. Someone had burned something on the stove. Black char marks on the burner. The microwave door was hanging off one hinge. I checked my room. The door was open. I always locked it when I travelled. Always. But the lock was busted. Someone had kicked it in. The frame was splintered. My laptop was gone. My monitor was gone. My keyboard, my mouse, my headphones. All gone. They'd taken my clothes too. Not all of them. Just the good stuff. My North Face jacket, my nice jeans, my running shoes. I stood there in my empty room trying to process what I was seeing. This wasn't 10 people having drinks. This was something else. I checked Camila's room. Empty. Completely empty. No bed, no clothes, no suitcases. Like she'd never been there. Same with Daniela's stuff in the living room. Gone. Just trash and destruction left behind. I called Camila again. Disconnected number. Called Daniela. Same thing. Both phones just dead. I went out to the balcony. Needed air. Needed to think. There were cigarette butts everywhere. Bottles lined up on the railing. Someone had drawn on the wall with marker. Just random words and symbols I couldn't make sense of. My neighbour came out onto his balcony. Older guy. Colombian. He'd always been friendly before. Now he just stared at me. You, he said in English. You know what happened here. I said I didn't. I was travelling. I just got back. He shook his head. Friday night, Saturday night, maybe 50 people, maybe more. Music until 6 in the morning. People on the stairs, on the roof. Everywhere. 50 people. She said 10. Did you see who was here? I asked. He shrugged. Young people. Drinking, smoking. I called the police twice. They came. Told everyone to be quiet. Then they left. Music started again. I asked if he saw Camila or Daniela. He said he didn't know their names. Just saw lots of girls going in and out. Guys too. different people all night. I went back inside, started counting what was missing. The TV, my laptop, my monitor, my clothes. I checked the bathroom. My electric toothbrush was gone, my cologne, even my damn razor. Then I checked the closet in Camila's old room. There was a box of stuff shoved in the back. I pulled it out. Inside were flyers, printed flyers, like club promotions. Party en Laureles, viernes y sábado. Entrada, 20,000 pesos. Bebidas incluidas. Party in Laureles Friday and Saturday. Entry, 20,000 pesos. Drinks included. They charge people to come to my apartment. Charge them. This wasn't a birthday party. This was a business. I felt sick. Actually sick. Sat down on the floor. Put my head in my hands. My phone rang. The Airbnb host, I answered. He was yelling before I could say anything, saying the neighbours called the building manager. The building manager called him. There were complaints. Lots of complaints. Noise, trash, people smoking in the hallways. Someone threw up in the elevator. I tried to explain. Said I wasn't there, I was in Bogotá. It was my roommates. He said I wasn't supposed to have roommates. It's against Airbnb policy. I signed an agreement. No subleasing. No guests for more than a week. No parties. I didn't know what to say. I'd read the agreement when I booked. I just didn't think it mattered. Thought it was one of those things nobody enforces. He said he was coming over. Be there in 30 minutes. Hung up. I spent those 30 minutes trying to clean, picking up bottles, throwing away trash. It didn't help. The place was destroyed. You can't clean destruction. The host showed up with the building manager. Both of them walked through the apartment. Didn't say anything, just looked. The host took pictures of everything. Every broken thing. Every stain. Every busted lock. Finally, the building manager spoke. Said the neighbours wanted me out. Said this kind of thing doesn't happen here. This is a good building. Families live here. I needed to leave. The host agreed. Said I violated the terms. He was cancelling the rest of my booking. I had 24 hours to get out. I asked about my deposit. $1,800. First and last month. He laughed. Actually laughed. Said my deposit wouldn't even cover the damages. The couch alone was $800. The TV was $600. The microwave, the blender, the locks, the walls that needed repainting. He said I'd be lucky if he didn't sue me for more. I started to argue. Started to say this wasn't my fault. But he cut me off. Said I let strangers live in his apartment. I let them throw parties. I broke the agreement. This was on me. They left. Said I had until tomorrow night. Then they'd change the locks and put my stuff on the street. I sat on the broken couch and tried to think. My laptop was gone. All my work files, client projects. I had backups, but they were on an external drive that was also gone. I'd have to recreate everything from scratch. Weeks of work. Gone. My phone was blowing up with messages. The Airbnb host sent me a damage report through the app. Itemised list of everything broken or missing. Total damages. $5,200. He was charging it to the card I had on file. I checked my banking app. The charge was already there, pending. $5,200. Plus the $1,800 deposit I wouldn't get back. That's $7,000 right there. Then I had to find a new place. Checked Airbnb, my account was flagged. Host reported the incident. I couldn't book anything else. Not in Medellin, not anywhere. I tried other sites. Everything was either too expensive or needed a long-term lease. I ended up at a hostel in Poblado, $40 a night. Shared bathroom, bunk bed. Only place that would take me on short notice. I spent the next week replacing everything. New laptop, $400. New clothes, $300. New headphones, new cables. All the little things you don't think about until they're gone. Another $200. I called my bank, disputed the Airbnb charge, said it was fraud. My roommates did it, not me. They said it didn't matter. I was the account holder. I was responsible. Dispute denied. I filed a police report, more for documentation than anything else. The officer asked if I had names, phone numbers, addresses for Camila and Daniela. I gave him what I had. All fake, obviously. He said they'd look into it. I never heard back. 2 weeks after I got back from Bogotá, I was sitting in a hostel with $11,700 gone. Maybe more if I counted all the small stuff. And my Airbnb account was banned permanently. I tried to figure out how it happened, how I missed it, but looking back, they played it perfect. Camila was professional, clean, paid on time, built trust for 2 months. Then Daniela came in, also paid. Also seemed fine. I thought I was making money, thought I was being smart. They waited until I was gone, out of the city. Then they turned my apartment into a pop-up club, charged admission, sold drinks, probably sold other stuff too, made thousands off one weekend. Then they disappeared, took whatever they could carry, left me with the wreckage. And the genius part, the part that makes me want to punch a wall. They didn't steal from me directly. They destroyed the apartment, let the host and the building and the situation do the damage. They just walked away clean, while I got buried in charges and bans and police reports that went nowhere. I never saw Camila again, never saw Daniela. Their phones were disconnected, their social media was gone. They probably weren't even their real names. I stayed in that hostel for 3 weeks, $40 a night, shared room with 5 other people, 1 bathroom for the whole floor. I'd wake up at 3 a.m. because someone was snoring, or coming back drunk, or packing their bag to catch an early flight. It was hell. But it was all I could afford. I kept trying to find another apartment, but everywhere I looked they wanted references. Wanted to see my Airbnb profile. Wanted proof I was a responsible tenant. I couldn't provide any of that. My account was banned, flagged. The incident report was public. One landlord actually laughed when he saw it. Said 50 people partying in his apartment. No thanks. Good luck finding someone else. I ended up finding a place through a friend of a friend. Small studio in Envigado. Guy didn't use Airbnb, didn't care about my history. Just wanted first month, last month, and deposit. $2,400 up front. My bank account was getting dangerously low, but I didn't have a choice. I moved in and tried to get back to normal. Tried to focus on work, but I kept thinking about it. Kept running through the timeline. Trying to figure out where I missed the signs. Camila at the co-working space. Was that planned? Did she target me specifically? Or was I just convenient? A gringo with a big apartment and a trusting face. I went back to that co-working space one day. Asked around. Showed people her photo. Nobody recognised her. The staff said they get hundreds of people through every week. I checked Facebook, searched for her name. Found dozens of Camilas in Medellin. None of them her. Searched for Daniela. Same thing. Dead ends everywhere. I thought about the flyers. They'd printed professional flyers. That takes time. Planning. They knew what they were doing. This wasn't some impulsive party that got out of hand. This was calculated. They scoped out the apartment for 2 months, learned my schedule, learned when I travelled, waited for the perfect moment, then executed. The neighbours told me later that Friday night, people started showing up around 10. By midnight, there were 30 people. By 2 a.m, there were 50. Maybe more. People in every room. People on the balcony. People on the roof. Someone said they saw girls at the door collecting money. 20,000 pesos a head. That's about $5. 50 people paying $5. That's $250. Just in entry fees. Then drinks, people said there was a makeshift bar set up in the kitchen. Selling beers, selling shots. Probably made another few hundred there. And they did it 2 nights in a row. Friday and Saturday. So maybe $500 total. Maybe more. Then they took my stuff. Laptop worth $1,000. TV worth $600. Clothes, headphones, everything else. Another $1,000 easy. They made about $2,000 off that weekend. Maybe $2,500. And left me with $11,000 in damages and losses. The math didn't even make sense at first. They made so much less than I lost. But then I realised, that's not the point. They were running a volume business. Do this once a month in different apartments with different victims. That's $30,000 a year. Tax-free. No overhead except printing flyers and buying some liquor. I wondered how many times they'd done this before. How many other people got the same treatment. Meet at a co-working space. Seem professional. Move in. Build. Trust. Party weekend. Disappear. I asked around at other co-working spaces. Showed people the photos. One guy at Atom House said, yeah, he thought he'd seen her. A few months ago, she was friendly with another American guy. They seemed tight. Then he left Medellin suddenly. Wouldn't say why, that confirmed it. This was her job. Find gringos with apartments, move in. Wait, strike, repeat. The Airbnb thing killed me the most. Not just because I lost my deposit and got charged for damages, but because I was banned. Permanently. No appeals. No exceptions. I contacted Airbnb support. Explained what happened. Said I was the victim here. They didn't care. Said I violated the terms of service by subleasing. Said host complaints are taken seriously. Account termination was final. I tried making a new account with a different email. They caught it. IP address or something. Banned again within a day. So now I'm locked out of Airbnb forever. Can't book anywhere. And most people use Airbnb in Colombia. Hotels are expensive. Long-term leases are complicated. Airbnb was the easy option. Now it's gone. My work took a hit too. I lost 2 weeks recovering files and rebuilding projects. Had to tell clients there was a delay. Technical issues. They weren't happy. One client dropped me, said they needed someone more reliable. That cost me about $1,500 a month in recurring income. Not forever, but for a few months until I found a replacement client. Add that to the total. Another $4,000 in lost income. So the full damage. Let me break it down. Airbnb damages and deposit, $7,000. Replacement laptop and belongings, $900. 3 weeks at the hostel, $840. New apartment deposit, $2,400. Lost client income over 3 months, $4,500. Total, $15,640. Call it $16,000 to keep it simple. I thought about going back to Seattle, packing it up, admitting defeat. But I'd already committed to Colombia. Signed a 6-month lease on the new place. Couldn't break it without losing more money. So I stayed. Kept working. Kept my head down. Stopped going to co-working spaces. Stopped talking to people. Stopped trusting anyone. My friends back home asked how Medellin was. I said great. Said I loved it. Didn't tell them what happened. Too embarrassing. Too stupid. Because that's the worst part. It was stupid. I knew the Airbnb rules. I read them. I signed the agreement. I just thought I was smarter than the rules. Thought I could game the system. Camila seemed professional. She paid on time. She was clean. She checked every box. Why wouldn't I trust her? Because people who run scams are good at seeming trustworthy. That's how scams work. If they seemed sketchy, nobody would fall for it. I think about that weekend a lot. 50 people were destroying my apartment, drinking my beer, stealing my stuff, dancing on my furniture, and Camila and Daniela were at the door collecting money, smiling, playing host, probably laughing about how easy it was. I hope they got caught eventually. I hope they tried this on the wrong person. Someone with connections. Someone who didn't just file a police report and move on. But I doubt it. They're probably still doing it. Different names, different co-working spaces. Different gringos who think they're being smart by subleasing. I'm still in Medellin, still working, still paying off the damage. My bank account is slowly recovering. I'm getting new clients. Life goes on. But I don't have roommates anymore. Don't let people stay over. Don't trust friendly conversations at co-working spaces. I live alone, work alone, keep to myself. Because $16,000 bought me a lesson. People aren't always who they seem. And sometimes being smart means following the boring rules you think don't apply to you. I thought I was helping someone out. Thought I was making extra money. I was wrong about all of it. That's Dave's story. This is my Colombia stories. More coming your way soon.